Hello, friends. Today we are going to read the lesson called The Three Questions. This is a lesson written by Leo Tolstoy.
आपल्याला हा व्हिडिओ आवडल्यास माझ्या चॅनलला लाईक व सबस्क्राईब करा.
Once a certain king had an idea. If he always knew the right time to begin everything, if he knew who were the right people to listen to and who to avoid, the most important thing to do, he would never fail in anything that he would undertake, and above all, if he always knew what was the most undertaken, since he was convinced that he was right in thinking this way, he had a proclamation made in his kingdom. He would give a great reward to anyone who would teach him what the right time was for every action, who the most necessary people were, and how he might know the most important thing to do. Many learned people come to the court, but they all gave different answers. In reply to the first question, some said that to know the right time for every action, one must draw up in advance a table for days, months, and years, and must live strictly according to it. Others declared that it was impossible to decide beforehand the right time for every action, but that not letting oneself be absorbed in ideal pastimes, one should always attend to all that was going on and then do that which was most essential. Yet others said that it was impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, and that the king should attend have a council of wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. Equally varied were the answers to the second question. Some said the people the king most needed were his counselors, other the priests, other the doctors, while some said the warriors were the most necessary. To the third question about what was the most important occupation, some replied that the most important thing in the world was the science. Others said it was skill in warfare, and others again that it was religious worship. The king was convinced by none of the answers and gave the reward to none. He decided instead of go to a hermit who was widely renowned for his wisdom. The hermit lived in a small hut in the forest which he never left. He spoke only to the common folk, so the king put on simple clothes and approaching the hermit's cell, dismounted his horse and left his bodyguards behind. When the king arrived, the hermit was digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king but went on digging. The hermit was frail and weak, and each time he struck the ground with the spade and turned over a little earth, he breathed heavily. The king went up to him and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to the answers three questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at a right time? Who are the people I most need, and to whom should I therefore pay most attention? And what affairs are the most important and need my first attention? The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just pat on his hand and resumed digging. The king watched in the silence for a while. Then, feeling sorry for a hermit, he said, You are tired. Let me take the spade and work a while for you. The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the ground. When he had dug two beds, the king stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit again gave no answer but rose, stretched out his hand for a spade, and said, Now rest a while and let me work a bit. But the king did not give give up give him spat. Now rest a while and let me walk a bit. But the king did not give him a spat and continued to dig. 1 hour passed and another. The sun began to sink behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spat into ground and said, I come to you, wise man, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, please say so, and I will go home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. Let us see who it is. The king turned round and saw a bearded man come running out of the forest. The man held his hands pressed against his stomach, and blood was flowing from under them. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. Moaning feebly, the king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. There was a large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as well as he could and bandaged it with his handkerchief and a towel the hermit had. But the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandages soaked with the warm blood and washed and re-bandaged the wound. When at last the blood stopped flowing, the man revived and asked for something to drink. The king brought some fresh water and gave it to him. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into a hut. The man lay there quietly with his eyes closed. By now, the king was so tired after his walk and the work he had done that he lay down himself and also fell asleep. When he awoke in the morning, it took him some time to remember where he was and who was the strange bearded man lying by his side and gazing intently at him. Forgive me, said the bearded man in the weak voice when he saw that the king was awake and was looking at him. I did not know you, and I have nothing to forgive you for, said the king. You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore to revenge himself on you because of you. You executed his brother and seized his property. I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return, so I came out of my ambush to find you. Your bodyguard recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them but would have bled to death had you not dressed my wound. I wish to kill you, but you have saved my life. Now, if I leave and if you wish it, I'll serve you all my life. The king was very glad to have made peace with an enemy so easily and to have gained him for a friend. He not only forgave him but said he would send his men and his own physician to attend to him. The king then took leave of him and went out of the hut to look for a hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg for an answer to the question he had asked. The hermit was outside on his knees, sewing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king approached him and said, For the last time, I pray you to answer my question, wise man. You have already been answered, said the hermit, still crouching on his thin legs and looking up at the king who stood before him. What do you mean? Asked the king. Do you not see? Replied the hermit. If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and stayed to dig these beds for me, you would have gone back and been killed by that man. So, the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, the most important time was when you were attending to that man, for if you had not bound his wounds, he would had died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. Remember then, there is only one time that is important now. It is the most important time because it's the only time when you have any power. The most necessary person is the one with whom you are, for you do not know whether you will ever have dealing with anyone else, and the most important thing is to do that person good, because for that person alone were you sent into this life. Thank you. Here this lesson is completed.